fire in the bathtub. Oh, I just hope to God I get clean. Blood on the rug when I wake up. Was that a nightmare or a wet dream? Cause I've seen some things that I'd rather not get into detail about. For now, I just hope I can leave them out. Cause I feel like I've been drowned, shot, stabbed, killed. Still smiling like everything's chill. I've been blown up, thrown up, overdosed off pills. Still smiling like everything's chill. Got a bite of side nod on the side of every meal. Still smiling like everything's chill. I could hang myself off a building with a belt. Yeah. Still everything's chill. Cause I know if life is a bitch, death must be a piece of ass. Death must be a piece of ass. Death must be a piece of ass. But at least it lasts. But at least it lasts. But at least it lasts. So just clap your hands if you really wanna die. I just want something permanent. I think me and life have a love and a hateful relationship. I feel grateful to be alive, but don't like how I have to live. I'm too lazy for suicide and too selfish to not exist. I feel basically I admire the fire I hold within. There are places inside my mind that would terrify Stephen King. I feel crazy and then I'm fine. Who knows what the nighttime will bring? It's amazing to me. I lie to myself, but I stop to think. It's hard moving on, but I'm smarter from the past. If I gotta die young, I'll be a martyr for the facts. If I'm reincarnated and I gotta come back, tell God 5 more minutes, I just wanna nap. Cause I've seen some things that I'd rather not get into detail about. For now, I just hope I can leave them out. Cause I feel like I've been drowned, shot, stabbed, killed. Still smiling like everything's chill. I've been blown up, thrown up, overdosed off pills. Still smiling like everything's chill. Got a bite of side nod on the side of every meal. Still smiling like everything's chill. I could hang myself off a building with a belt. Yeah. Still everything's chill. Cause I know if life is a bitch, death must be a piece of ass. Death must be a piece of ass. Death must be a piece of ass. But at least it lasts. But at least it lasts. But at least it lasts. So just clap your hands if you really wanna die. If I lose my life, I hope I find another. I nosedive just to build up for another come up. But oh my, I got the guilt of a cheating lover. But still everything's chiller than a motherfucker. Everything's chiller than a motherfucker. Everything's chiller than a motherfucker. Motherfucker.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Welcome back to another live stream here. If you're new, my name is Zach. That's a loud, squeaky mic. My name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Make sure you read what's on the screen right here before we get into it. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. You're probably going to lose all your money if you trade. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just an idiot yapping about trading on YouTube for entertainment purposes only, not a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Also read CFTC Rule 4.41 about simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded accounts. Now, let's run it. Let's run it, boys and girls. Go ahead and just adjust that. Looking good, looking good. Wild markets. Hang on one second here. There we go. Wild markets, man. Wild markets. Headline markets, Trump markets, whatever we want to call them, they are all over the map. Saw that yesterday. Watched me take an L. If you were on here, you can go back and watch it. Got short after sweeping above these highs on the way down. This was right about the time that more tariff information came out from Mexico, and we rallied. Pretty gnarly reaction there. If we look at what happened overnight before we start zooming out, pushed up all the way into the close, sold off aggressively here. Again, more headlines, more information coming out. Really nice retest of these highs here on NQ. You can look at the 15-minute chart. Pushed back up, got through VWAP. We've broken and retested VWAP, and now we're starting to push right off from VWAP. If I zoom out even further, we look at the daily, just kind of get a top-down analysis here on NQ. And I'm going to do it for YM as well. Been looking at Dow a whole lot more. Looking at potentially coming back to trading that off the open like I've been doing in the past. Yeah, we got prior day high and prior day low marked out. We got overnight low and overnight high marked out. Kind of see what happened on that nice Monday sell-off. Big gap to the downside. came back up, pushed all the way up. Really nice bullish candle with a long wick to the downside. And we got a bearish candle with a long wick to the downside forming right now. Kind of just this back and forth choppy motion, man. The more we stay within this range, the dicier it's going to get. You know, I would have liked to see us say, hey, you know what? Market's going to sell off. U.S. markets are going to crash. We're going to head lower. Or, you know, we start to break to the upside and we get some direction out of this thing from a really high time frame. But we don't have that yet. We don't have that yet. So overall, to me, again, this is feeling like a repeat of last week, right? If we go back and look at last week, big sell-off on Monday, gap down at the open, and then recovery. If we look at this week, big gap down on Monday, you know, big sell-off, recovery starting here. So, you know, this is feeling like we might start to push from here. I'm going to be a little cautious. We got 10 a.m. news coming up, red folder. That is, let's see. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Good morning. Good morning. Jolts job opening, red folder. And then we've got 5:10 p.m. Okay, we got Trump speaking later today. Got some FOMC members speaking during the day, but nothing really to worry about. If I just take another quick look at financial juice, just to double check. Yeah, it looks like jolts and factory orders. That's kind of what we got going on for news that we want to be cautious of. That's going to be 10 a.m. About 20 minutes, 22, 23 minutes. So again, overnight session, sold off really aggressively, recovered right here off the, you know, the 250s. We really don't want to get below that here in NQ. And we're popping at the open. You know, came back, broke above VWAP, retesting, and we're cracking it to the upside at the open. I don't really have a setup within here. I don't want to find a way in long. Stop loss just below this just yet. Could absolutely see the momentum to the upside. I would look for some kind of structure to form, retest, continuation, potentially. But I could see myself potentially waiting here. Yeah. And then again, just talking about the markets in general, I've seen a lot of different takes on this type of action, right? Where we got normalcy, we have price action and market structure forming, and it's how are you going to handle the headlines? How are you going to handle the constant, you know, Trump tweets something, somebody says something, you know, a country responds to something that we've talked about, and all of a sudden, you know, market rips to the upside or rips to the downside. I've tried to take a little bit more zoomed out approach to be able to survive some of the intraday volatility. But to be honest, yesterday is an example of where it didn't work out too well. The other thought process is to get zoomed in, limit your time in the market, try not to hold on for these larger movements because you increase the chance of having to hold through one of those unexpected, you know, unpredictable headlines that are going to drop. So, you know, it's a difficult call, man. It's a really difficult call. This is going to be a really interesting market to trade. I think there's going to be a ton of opportunity. I think it's an intraday trader's dream, right? We do need a lot of volatility. We need movement, right? Not just this slow, choppy BS, but there's some quick, unpredictable volatility that can come in based on what's going on in the U.S. in geopolitics. Taking a quick look at Dow, we've got some pretty similar structure, right? Like if I zoom out on the 1 hour and I reset the chart and then I hop back over to NASDAQ, kind of comparing against these two, we got some pretty similar structure from a higher time frame. Dow kind of lives in its own world. I'll try to pull up the meme of Dow. But what I really do like about it is it's fairly mean reverting, right? It pulls these, at least in my humble opinion, right, the way that I read it, pulls these really choppy back and forth movements. It loves to snap back to VWAP. It loves to react really harshly off of levels, at least my discretionary levels. And that can be leveraged at the open. You know, I've been trying to wrap my head around how I want to approach, you know, the rest of this year with NQ and dealing with some of that volatility. Brought me back to, you know, continue to review, kind of go through my playbook, what I trade, how I trade, And it's encouraged me again to take a look at Dow. For some reason, like I talked about, and you can see from my trading from last year, somehow I always find my way back to NQ. I don't seem to stray from U.S. indices. I'm only ever trading ES, NQ, or YM. Played around with gold a little bit, but very, very, very briefly. ES and YM, ES and NQ being very, very similar. YM kind of being the black sheep of them. Really just not the same, at least in my humble opinion. But I do like YM. I have the most experience. I'm probably starting to push that, but I have the most experience trading YM as US 30 in CFDs before stopping getting scammed and coming over to an actual market like futures. So it's a long way to say I'll be looking at YM, especially off the open. Very, very simple. Very simple. Aggressive entry at zones. Back to VWAP, from VWAP to zones, mostly just initial tests of zones, targeting a reaction. But watching NQ as well. Again, 18 minutes to news. Probably not going to look for an entry before this 10 a.m. Red folder news. Again, we have 10 a.m. red folder news, boys and girls. Be cautious. It is JOLTS job openings. Not crazy, nothing insane, but that can definitely move the market. Just looking out on the news schedule for later this week. I can show you guys it right here. Yep, forexfactory.com if you guys want to check this out yourself. We got some 8:15 and 10 a.m. Nothing crazy, but something to be aware of for tomorrow. Unemployment claims on Thursday. That's definitely a market mover. And then we got an NFP Friday. 8:30 a.m. non-farm payroll. That's going to be pretty gnarly. It's going to be pretty gnarly. So definitely want to be cautious around those times. For today, 10 a.m., we got to work through that. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. again. Those are a little bit difficult. I prefer the 8:30. We get the news wick. We get some movement. And then we hop on here, 9:30. We can start trading. We don't get interrupted by a 10 a.m. news event that we want to wait for. But, yeah, those are what I'm looking at. I don't try to predict which way the market's going to go. I don't say, oh, let's see what's forecast, what's actual, what was the previous. I don't do any of that. I think it's a loser's game. I think, number one, you have to get what's about to happen right as far as the rate or the decision. Then number two, you have to get the way that the market's going to interpret that correct, which is near impossible in my humble opinion. But if you can make that work for yourself, go ahead and do that. I'd just like to expect an increase in volatility, a potential for an increase in volatility. Be aware of that as I'm structuring my trades. Yeah, we are popping at the open for NQ. Really nice retest and then just immediate push up. Again, taking a look at Dow. Again, how I trade Dow is just a little bit different. The tools I use the same. The mindset that I'm trading with as far as what I'm looking for in the approach is very similar. Just a little bit more aggressive on entries and a little bit more looking to capitalize on this mean reversion that we get out of Dow, at least that I see. If we are trading at VWAP, like we are right now, I may look at a level to be retested, or a level to be tested, or a level to be swept below lows or highs, and then a return to VWAP. I really don't like the first trade from VWAP if I don't have clear direction. But, for example, a rough example of kind of how I would look to do this. We're trending up, let's say. We're not too clear right here when we start to zoom out. But let's say we're trending up, right? I look for an open where we crack below VWAP, test a zone, sweep below a low, and I look to target back towards VWAP, towards the middle of maybe our temporary volume point of control. That's the basics. Extremely simple. Like really one of the simplest type trades that I take. And all of my stuff is pretty dang simple. But I don't really have a super clear setup. For an example on this one, example on today, it'd be a little dicey to take it if we started to sell off really aggressively, but I'd look for a buy right off this zone. Even if we start to move in one direction with Dow and we're going to continue, loves to come back to VWAP first. Loves to come back to the high area of volume traded for that session, especially in the morning. You can go back and back test that. You can literally build a strategy off of taking discretionary levels from Dow and buying and selling right off them, in my opinion. If you structure your risk right, you add a little bit of price action. Maybe you don't try to jump directly in front of the moving train. You wait for some hesitation on the 5-minute. Maybe you drop to a lower time frame. You can really get some stuff going. But I have to get my CBOT data back to take a look at the Dow Bookmap. I let that lapse, so I've got CME data on 2 different providers actually, but that's another point. Looking at let's look at Bookmap together while I'm talking about it. This is NQ Bookmap. Bookmap is an order flow software. This is level 2 data. I run this on a second screen, kind of secondary to my candlestick stuff. What we're looking at here is, these are prices, right? These are NQ prices. You have the order book, the ladder. These are quantity of orders above and below price, resting buys and sell orders. We could see, for example, we have what I would refer to as liquidity at 21,600. Pretty obvious today, big round number. 103 lots on the book up there. This is the algorithmic stuff that I was talking about not being on the book yesterday, kind of looking like it was about to be a news event. It can be really interesting to watch how this stuff changes, especially we might see it for 10 a.m. I'll show you guys today. Usually these kind of die out. It gets really dark and ominous. All the orders get pulled from the book, and market participants let the news come out, kind of like a lot of us do, without trading through it, and then it starts to reappear. But we've got some orders above, and we have some stacked down here below. Yeah, there we go. 275. So let's just jump back to our candlestick chart, and we could throw some markings, just kind of get a feel. We got 750 way up there as well. But let's go ahead and mark NQ with some horizontal raise. We said down below price, we've got 275. Can actually clone that bad boy. This way I don't have to write it again. Above price, we have 550. We got 77 and then 600. That one's directly on top of, I'll get rid of that, directly on top of overnight high. So areas of liquidity, above and below price. I like to put really light kind of overlapping labels on these just so I know what I'm looking at. Maybe if we head towards this area, price may want to go and grab that liquidity fill. If we start to head up that way, I want to be cautious of an increase in volatility, right? We have orders sitting there. We likely are going to have a larger volume traded at that level. And as usual, and they've really been popping up this way, very obvious levels out of Bookmap. I will say that. Very obvious round numbers. That's where these orders have been getting placed. Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I think I'm gonna watch Dow this morning. I don't really have a setup on this. Coming. We cracked to the upside. I'm going to be waiting for more structure. We come up here, get above overnight high, get above prior day high, flip this into a nice green candle. This is going to look like a bullish move, right? It's going to look, again, very similar to last week. If you hopped on here late, this is Monday of last week. Gap down at the open, sell off, recovery all week. Does this look familiar? Gap down, sell off, recovery starting on Monday, looking like we're going to recover again on Tuesday. It's feeling like deja vu. I'm going to try not to have recency bias on here, but this looks like try to buy the dip. We are pushing to the upside off the lows, 120 some odd points. Looks like we want to come into Bookmap, tag prior day high, overnight high. This looks like a long, no real good way to structure risk on this. You could definitely look long here with a nice wide 150 point stop loss and say, I think this thing's going to continue. This is going to be a big day to the upside. you know, we have failed to get below this nice level of support that we put in. We're, you know, ripping at the open, headed towards, here we go, coming into Bookmap right here. Bookmap levels. Can watch this on a lower time frame, see if we start to pop. You know, you can definitely target that for a larger move to the upside, right? Everything's, at least for me right now, calling long. Sell off a little bit overnight, but support found above VWAP, pushing at the open. You know, higher time frame, choppy, back and forth, but unless we think we're going to return to this low and really start to blast to the downside, this looks like a long. You know, it looks like a long. Let's get a little more zoomed out on Dow, not to make you guys dizzy. Jump out to the 30-minute, get really, really zoomed out, just kind of get a higher time frame view. You know, look at the last quite a bit of data through the beginning of the year, very bullish. A lot of consolidation, gnarly sell-off here. Yep, here's our Monday. Here's our past Monday. Popped up, closed the gap. Kind of turning back to the downside, though. This looks like we want to retest these lows. I'd look at Dow. I'd look at Dow for a... Sorry, guys. I'm just resetting the volume and VWAP when I do that. Really zoomed out on the 5-minute here. I'd look for a test of this level for a long. Again, maybe not something that I want to hold all day. I think even if we are going to move lower, we'd probably crack these lows, crack back up, and then continue. Would give me an opportunity to get long down here. 10 a.m. news is probably going to mess this up. I don't want to be entering, you know, at 10 o'clock Eastern and 3 seconds trying to take a buy as we're ripping to the downside on news. Just not a great idea, in my humble opinion. But I'd look long off of a test of this zone. If we ended up having a bullish day, I'd look short off of a retest of this resistance level for a nice bounce play. These are more bounce plays, counter to what price is doing. I like to take them in the direction of the higher time frame trend if we have one, but like stupidly simple, really stupidly simple. Most of these zones are going to coincide with other objective levels, right? Like this is our overnight low here in Dow. This is going to be our overnight high. This is going to be prior day's high. So while I just have zones marked on Dow because I find that works just equally as well, they are typically important levels. You know, they're around important levels. So Dow and NQ. NQ pushing the upside, filling that liquidity. Look at that. Going to tag those orders. Strong. Strong move out of NASDAQ. Appreciate you guys hopping on. If you're on here, man, smash the like button. Hit the like button. Help me out. I'm a better trader than I am a social media, whatever you call this, live trading stuff. Feel free, hit the like button. You don't have to do anything. Free means free, but you'd certainly be helping me out if you find this valuable. If you find somebody spending their time live streaming free and running a free community with almost 1,500 members, you could hop in the free Discord as well. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you can't chat this time, if you subscribe, you can chat tomorrow. That's how that works. I keep subscriber mode on. Try to limit the trolls in here. So when I have that off, I just get yelled at and called an idiot and scam. And then people DM me telling me they're going to kill me and my family. I get death threats. I'm like, all right, man, sorry. Sorry for upsetting you. 100% free community. None of that from you guys. There's the free Discord link. Be more than happy to have you in. If you want to check out any of the links I have down below, discounts to prop firms, discounts to the paid softwares that I do use, go ahead and check that stuff out. 5 minutes to red folder news. Let's see what we get here, guys. Let's see what we get. NQ really strong. Looking like we want to go up and test overnight high, prior day high. We'll see what happens on news here. Dow just hanging out around VWAP. And similar structure out of ES. I'm just checking on a second chart as well. Yeah, quite a bit of orders right at overnight high that we are pushing towards. Ran through this, filled, and we are pushing to the upside. This looks very, very strong for a breakout headed north. What's going on, man? Good day. Let's kill it. Let's kill it is right. Simple. I like that. I like your handle. That's how I like to keep things. Very simple. 4 minutes to red folder news, guys. Again, not a massive one, but nice, Nate. I'm reading. If I know you're on here and you can't chat, I'm gonna figure that out. Playing Orb with MNQ. Very nice, man. Very nice. Reading you guys from Discord. Got a couple guys getting long. Yeah, I'm not going to take anything before red folder. I don't think there's a need to do that. Just not in my wheelhouse. Coming up on red folder news, NQ not letting its foot off the gas, still pushing to the upside, going to check out these 550s. That was a lot of momentum, man. Breakout to the upside. This looks very, very, very strong off the bat. Very strong off the bat. So I'm interested to see what we get from here. If you guys were playing an opening range breakout to the upside, it looks like it worked out very nicely for you. I'd be cautious again. Couple minutes to red folder news, likely to see some volatility, even if this is going to continue, which it looks like it wants to. Looks like it wants to. Again, I'd be looking for a retest of this level for a bounce back up towards VWAP. That's what I'd be looking at. I'm going to watch this on NQ, though, just so we can stay on the same page here for now. And then maybe hop back over to Dow and take a look at what's going on. Try not to mess up the live stream while I'm doing this. What's up, guys? I appreciate you hopping on. Hit the like button, man. 20 of you guys on here. Hit the like button. You don't have to do anything, but if I don't say it, nobody does it. And then when I do say it, everybody hits it, and 20 more people hop on. So 60 seconds to red folder news. Touching yesterday's high, closing the gap that we had to opening price. Very beautiful play, guys, that got long on this. Did not give you a lot of structure, right? Just kind of blasted off here. Maybe you took that breakout consolidation to the upside. That was enough for you. Very nice if you did get long on this. Coming up on 30 seconds to red folder news. I'm going to try to get better at repeating that and keeping everybody in the loop if you're trading here with me. We'll see what happens here. See if we get a pop at the top of the hour here. There we go. Ooh, that's pretty volatile. Initial push. Do we just blast right through overnight high and continue? It looks like we might try that. There you go. Cracking overnight high. This looks like a super strong move to the upside. If you did hold through news, we're filling orders at 600. I'd expect something. Yeah, there you go. I'd expect some reaction here, like a little bit. We just blast through this level. It's going to look insanely strong. It's kind of going to leave me in the dust. I'm not going to have a breakout setup in the morning here with just a knife to the upside. Let's see what Dow did. Kind of similar. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find something too quick on NASDAQ. I'm going to look for an opening trade on Dow. I'm going to leave this running. Nice and zoomed out on the 5-minute. The like button is free. Yeah, the like button is free. Good point, Stuart. The like button's also free. So hit the like button. No, I appreciate you guys being on here, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. Fun to have you guys on here. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. If you find it valuable, great. If you don't, you don't have to be here. That's the beauty of doing stuff for free. You want to hop in a free community, 1,500 members, almost 1,500 members. I would be more than happy to have you. 100% free. Not a VIP feeder program. Not something where you jump in and then I say, well, you can only trade live with me if you pay me. Got rid of all that fun stuff and doing everything free. I do work with traders one-on-one in a paid one-on-one setting, but do it very few at a time, if any at all. Advanced traders, and if you watch my stuff, you see all my info. I don't push that. I don't really push that. If you decide to use a link, an affiliate link, or a company that I'm partnered with, I get paid on the back end. Awesome. Awesome. I think that's the most mutually beneficial way to do it. Yeah, not a lot out of Dow, man. Not as strong as NQ, cracking to the upside. Yeah, again, I don't want to get short up here, guys, but the only setup that I could see would be really, really aggressively short, looking for a pullback down, through this level, back to VWAP, back to this temporary volume point of control, which is actually not even resetting for this, but back down to this area, off the open. Gun to my head, I'm short here, coming back down, but it would be very counter to what we saw yesterday, counter to, what I'm anticipating happening, which is a move to the upside. This is very strong. Yeah, here's our temporary volume point of control. This is very strong, right? So I don't love being so counter trend, especially on NQ. The risk opportunity is nice here. It's a cheap short. You're up around a whole bunch of levels. We filled orders. We're not blasting through. This looks like the opportunity back down. We do see that often after a crack above, a continuation back down, and then it's going to do whatever it's going to do. But I don't want to fade this. I don't know that I want to fade this. It's not a bad setup, but again, just pretty aggressively counter. I wouldn't be long through this level. I just don't see the need to do that. I don't know where you would structure risk on any of this price action, right? I would want to be long after some kind of break and retest. Maybe we just pull back like I'm potentially expecting. We see something along these lines. We have an opportunity for a long down here, a way to structure risk down below these levels and a continuation up. Maybe we do crack these highs. We just continue right here for a while, pull back in, and we got an opportunity to get long, somewhere down here on a retest for a push to the upside. Maybe we don't do any of that. We just sell right back off. But I don't have a setup on this. So no setup, no trade. You have to be comfortable not taking something, right? I could just say, I think it's going to go up, so I'm going to buy. But that's not a setup for me. Breakout above prior day high and overnight high with no structure and no way to structure risk. That's not a setup. Not a setup for me. Yeah, even if I zoom in, there's really nothing here. So wait and see. That's my game plan. The only thing I could see is short. Again, I'd be okay taking that. You know, it would be what I would mark as, you know, fairly aggressive counter to the day, but potentially in line with this choppiness, right? You could almost get away with saying, well, we've been selling off and kind of chopping back and forth on a higher time frame, but you'd be counter to this bullish action to the upside here. And for the session, really, really bullish. So here we go, pushing the high. Which is why I'm liking Dow, at least attempting to take a look at it for a retest down around these levels, which could be reasonable, and then a crack back up. I think that's the first setup that I would actually get. If you guys hopped on late, I've traded Dow quite a bit in the past. Traded it more as US 30 and CFDs. Most experience really on Dow. Trade it very, very simple. Zone to zone, sweeps of lows, back towards VWAP. That's kind of the setup. I like to do it at the open before it starts really moving and trending. But I find it's very mean reverting, and I take a stupidly simple approach to trading it. Discretionary levels, above and below price. If we're testing them before the open, maybe I trade it into the open back towards VWAP. If we crack down or to the upside off the open, I like to trade it back towards VWAP, towards the area of consolidation, a temporary volume point of control, kind of a number of factors that line up here on Dow. Most of these levels do also line up with objective levels, right? Prior day's high, overnight lows down here. But discretionary zones seem to work really well for me as well. So that's what we're looking at today, guys. NQ blasting out like a rocket. Dow chopping around. You can actually look at ES, even though I took it off my... Yeah, let's go ahead and just get rid of these. That's all in the wrong spot. Very similar structure at ES. Right? Very similar higher time frame structure. Yeah, that you could have made work. Could have made work with a nice wide stop loss down around these lows. Strong move out of NASDAQ. If you found your way in long, I commend you this morning. Hang out and watch the black sheep YM. I'm gonna see if I can pull this meme up. Oh man, I think I don't know. I think trading related memes are funny. I really turn into a 10-year-old when it comes to this stuff online. It's very funny. I can't find it. I thought I reposted at a certain point, but I can't find it. Let's see what Bookmap's looking like over here. Oh, there we go. This was I did repost it. This was the meme I thought was really funny for NQ, which is blocked by my my name over here, ES and YM. Oh man, that was the getting ready to trade YM. which is pushing up. No retest of a zone, no sweep of overnight lows, just consolidation, breakout to the upside. Jose, what's going on, man? What is up, Jose? How have you been? How have you been, man? Good to see you. Got an OG. Yeah, NQ not letting its foot off the gas either. That is a strong push, man. Strong push. Yeah, I'd look to buy a dip. That's pretty much all I got. What's happened on some of these is they run, and by the time you do get a dip, looking at these types of time frames, it's a reversal. But I don't have a short on this. Obviously, that wouldn't have paid too well. Reason I didn't want to take it. Very, very aggressive. Would be counter to everything that we've seen. This looks like it can continue. But this is an off the open push to the upside. Really not taking its foot off the gas for a second. We had just a tiny bit of consolidation right here around the 945. It absolutely gave you room if you play the opening range in NQ, the orb opening range breakout, which I do not. I just don't find it works well for me. You had a chance to get long on that there. You could have ran a really tight stop loss, like just below this little 3-minute consolidation. Or maybe you got long there and you said, hey, I'm going to hold on to this bad boy and I'm going to go 120 points below the low. Either one of those would have played very, very nicely. I would have paid. On most days, I don't find that works out too well. Just buying the first, move right off the open. But we are getting follow through today. I think just taking off like a rocket. We are, yeah, man. Like going to approach like average session ranges coming up here. Around that like 270 to 290. That's kind of the range for average NYSE session coming off of Edgeful for those stats. 300 I think would be like the top end of that. So, we are really, and we did it to one side, just blasted right off from the open. So I could see some type of a reversal here. I wouldn't want to jump in front of this though. Cheap short if you wanted to start trying to fade this move. Right? You could say, hey, look at this on the 5-minute zoomed out, right? Let's go and cherry pick a zone. You got these highs that were tested multiple times. You got this area here, this area of consolidation that was respected multiple times. We're above this area right here, cracked above overnight high, prior day low. We got a good potential to, turn back down. But you would really be counter to that move. I think there's nothing wrong with taking aggressive shorts like that. I think you have to be able to be comfortable having your stop just ran through right away. But I could definitely see the short play. Give them those likes, man. It doesn't cost nothing. Support the homie. Jose. Oh, man. That's the all caps energy that I needed this morning. As I crack this seltzer. And spill it on myself. Live with you guys. Looks like we might see some kind of a respect of this resistance level. That's not a sweep above highs that I would need to get short on Dow. But we'll see if Dow just continues to chop or it actually starts to pop here as well. Yeah, 2700's got orders as well. Again, this is a cherry-picked zone, guys. This is not one that I had on my chart. There's a reason I'm not short from that zone. I'm just making it work. If you zoom out, right, you can almost always find a zone on your chart. That's not a great way to do it. Is this a level that could potentially be, respected as some resistance? Sure. I wouldn't have it marked on my chart past this high, in between this level up here. You know, that's the next level that I'd be watching. But it's certainly an area of consolidation. Tops and bottoms been tested multiple times. You know, if we're going to continue this move up, a pullback down, right, could be in store. I'd be tempted after the 700 level. Got quite a bit of orders up there. No, 50. 50, that looked like more. Just taking a look at Bookmap, looking at order flow. We've got some liquidity up at 700. Not a ton below. Like if there was a lot popping up down here, that would give me at least something to be okay going counter on this move for the morning. But we don't even have that. Let's see, getting a little bit of a reaction here. I think a test of prior day high, overnight high could definitely be in store. This is a short play. I want to get some trading in with you guys. I've had a couple no trade sessions that I've been trying to avoid, and I don't love doing that. It does put me in an interesting spot to look to take trades for the sake of taking trades, which I'm not going to do. But it's worth acknowledging. I don't know. Anybody have the Trump Twitter up? Is he about to tweet something? We got any tariff announcements like yesterday that are about to blow the doors off of whatever short that I take? Yeah, I don't know, man. This is really strong. We absorbed news. We cracked above overnight high, prior day high, but I could see this thing coming back down. 5-minute candle close. Second one's looking kind of dicey. I'll go ahead and try a short from up here. Let's get a trade in with you guys. I'm going to keep this really low risk. I am copy trading across 3 accounts. Going to go with a nice wide stop loss. Again, aggressive short entry. After sweeping above prior day high, I'm not going to get another entry while I'm on here with you guys. So I'll take something. I'm not seeing a pullback that's going to form within, you know, the next 30 minutes that I'm going to be able to get long on. So we'll take a nice 1 micro short from up here. Immediately continuing the move almost as soon as I entered, so that's not looking very nice. But I'm just looking at how I'd want to structure risk on this. Yeah, I'd go wide to just allow a little bit more of a push up on this before continuation down. I think sweeping the highs again is totally in store. That can be okay. We continue to blast off to the upside. I'm just dead wrong, and I'm trying to fade a really strong movement. But low risk, you know, $150. Yeah, that's about as far as I would want to let it go against me. We just continue the move up. It's gonna be a gnarly push to the upside. I think we would just continue through this level and start to push the highs. So I'm short 1 micro here on MNQ, low risk, 21,624 and 3/4. Stop is at 21,699 and 3/4. Looks like we're about to get ran directly through. As I'm zooming out to watch this thing, just to see if there's another level or something that I want to pay attention to. But we get a trade on. Nope, looking super strong, not backing off yet. And that's just a little 5-minute pullback. That looks like we got what we got out of here. Dow not setting up for me. Just pushed to the upside. No real setup on Dow for what I look for in the morning. You know, a test of a discretionary level, an overnight high or low, something like that, to look to get short or long back towards VWAP on. So aggressively short on NASDAQ, looking for a reversion. Again, low risk trade, right? Cheap trade. Maybe not so high probability. Probably not going to win even half of these styles, getting aggressively short on a move to the upside. But you stand to make a whole lot more if you're right than you lose when you're wrong. And I don't see another setup coming. You know, if I wait for a ton of confirmation or anything like that, that we start to sell off super aggressively, I've already missed the opportunity for a short. I would look long. That's my move into the afternoon. I would look long after some type of a retest like this. Pull back down towards VWAP, you know, volume point of control, and then some aggressive buying to step in to really maintain this move. I'd be looking long. You know, that's going to be my main trade coming into the afternoon. If we have something like that. But this looks super strong. It's a knife to the upside, no backing off. This may just be a huge run up today. That may be what we are in for. But for now, aggressively short. After a sweep of overnight high, prior day high, some consolidation, a little bit more consolidation than we've seen on the 5-minute chart for all of this move. Some of the buyers dying out, maybe volume dropping off. Not a whole lot of, we got orders at 700 where my stop is, which I don't like, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Ooh, I would like to be wide above that, taking a second look at Bookmap, but I don't know that I want to take on much more risk than this. I'm not going to. We're going to turn from here, or we're going to go up and stop me out and then turn. But I'm not going to put on more than 150 bucks. Nice and light. Nice and light. Give myself multiple trades if need be. And I'll be right back, guys. Going to let my chair trade with me. Trade for me for a minute. We'll see how my chair does. Back in action. How'd the chair do? Chair! Come on, chair. That doesn't look good. I'm going to have to get a new chair, guys. This is not good. Yeah, really not rejecting off of this too much. Again, like Decent consolidation here. I could see one more wick up before we go and potentially start to turn, or that we just continue and blast off from here. Again, if you hopped on late, I'm aggressively counter to this move, looking for some resistance to be found up here, coming off of a zone that I cherry-picked after a sweep above prior day high and overnight high, maybe just for a crack back towards VWAP. Low risk. I don't like to be, really heavily positioned or something that I would run with a really wide stop loss to tell me that I'm wrong. I think if we continue up, I'm just too early on the short. Maybe we're not going to move down at all. We got a big round number up here. That's a dangerous spot. I'm not going to run a stop loss like 40 points above that to try to allow for a wick up. I'd want to see a turn down, but I don't know that we're going to get that. I'm comfortable taking the $150 loss if I have to, as you should be with any trade that you put on, right? Talk about risk management. Structure your trades, accept the risk on the front end, say, I'm happy ending, this trade red, or don't put the trade on in the first place. That should be your rule of thumb for everybody. If you don't, Dow might pull it. Dow might pull the back to VWAP move. It's kind of what we'd be looking at on Dow. Yeah, you can even get like a little 1.25 to 1 on Dow. Again, kind of counter though. These are counter moves. But we got to trade on. Like I said, I really don't like hopping on here and not being able to structure risk with you guys, kind of show you what a trade would look like, be able to manage something, talk about risk management, talk about trade entries, exits, all that fun stuff. It's tough to just have back-to-back no trade sessions, But like I said, not going to take terrible trades that I don't want to take. So there we are. Short from 624 3/4. Stop at 699 3/4. We come up, to test that 700s. I think we're getting through it. Maybe we see a rejection up there, but not something I want to run a wide stop loss through. Let's see. Let's see what the news of the day says. See what the talking heads have to say. Not that I really look to apply this to my trading, but it's fun to know about. By the time we know about it, it looks like this, right? We get a 200-point candle to the upside because something happens with Mexico tariffs, and that point, unless you knew about it ahead of time as it was breaking, maybe you'd be able to structure for it. But those are the tough moves we got to deal with in this market. China retaliates with additional tariffs of 15% on select U.S. imports. Interesting. S&P rises as investors shake off Trump's trade battles. That's what CNBC has to say. But we are coming up here on initial balance. We're going to get initial balance high and low. Let's see if I can't throw that on the chart. Initial balance is the first 1 hour of trading. (9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Is it high the same? Yeah, that high is the same. Is it? 633.5? Yeah. Let's see what we get. I don't like to be so close to initial balance high right here, short. Yeah, 10:30 close. This could be dicey. I don't really want to take this trade off for the case that we may just rip to the downside. We come back above and break these highs. I don't know that I want to hold on to it. Maybe we cut the trade at, 80, 90 bucks instead of 150. Just keep risk pretty light. If we break initial balance high, which we are more likely to do based on the statistics, on this one being formed last, we are not likely to come all the way back down here if we break this high. And if we break this high, we are more likely to extend to the upside than we are to just sweep it and continue lower and break this low. So I've got one stat working against me. If we break this high, I probably don't want to have two stats working against me, and maybe we look to clip risk just a little bit tighter. But I'm going to leave that where it was if I can. Oh, I can almost leave it where it was. All right. Man, I got to get a new mouse or reduce sensitivity, but that's as close as I'm going to get. One tick lower on the stop loss, guys. That's what we did there. Again, not a whole lot of risk on relative to how you see me trade. I am copy trading today, but this thing is just not turning. Consolidating, but not turning yet. This looks like we may want to pop. Orders at 700, man. Yeah, again, I'm gonna potentially look to manage if we come up a little bit higher. Just take a look at Dow again, see what we're doing there. Yeah, we're not coming back to VWAP on Dow either. Just getting a higher time frame view, which I like to do. I like to just zoom out and kind of get a different perspective. It's the same information, just displayed a little bit different of a way. I think that can be helpful. Just kind of like sometimes zoom out if I'm looking at the 5 minute, like we're watching the 5 minute today. Jump to the 30, jump to the 1 hour, get a feel for kind of what this looks like from a higher time frame. If you back test on higher time frames, if you watch higher time frames, you can get a feel and say, hey, I don't think this is going to form in my favor right here. I think this is going to go poorly. But trade on, hanging out with you guys on this fine Tuesday, February 4th. Trading these wild markets, seeing if we can't make a little bit of money, man. Again, keeping risk low. Counter trend, wild ride on these markets. Not something that I want to be really in heavy on. Yeah, watching Bookmap over on the side. We got orders kind of coming on and off the book here. This is a little sketchy. We got some spoofing going on. What do we got here? What do we have here? What do we have here? NQ. Interesting. Yeah, we got orders getting moved around the book. That could get a little bit dicey. some down at 620. Yeah, some down near entry and below. 670 we got quite a bit. 47 lots in the book and 700. We crack these highs. I'm going to take this off. I think that's the game plan. I think we push higher. Well, what's the last of this at? 70s? $700. It's the active trade management that I look at doing, right? You know, cut a loser short, hold on to a winner. You know, all of the axioms that they want you to do, that traders talk about, they hold true, right? They're usually helpful. For me, actively managing the trade, more information prints, right? Trade thesis, initial stop loss area, more information prints. You can get more indication of what may happen. If I'm holding trades for a really long period of time, I'm going for a really wide stop loss and I'm going to allow them to play out over a number of hours. I've noticed, especially here on NQ, I do a lot better just not touching them. If I'm tighter on a stop loss, on a little bit more zoomed in time frame, looking for something to develop pretty quickly, there's a time element and there's also taking into consideration what's happening on the chart. The less the trade looks good, the more time it takes, the lower probability that you start to have that it's going to play out, at least in my humble opinion. And you can make a executive decision to say, you know what, I don't like this, I'm going to clip it. That type of a deal. For now, I'm going to leave this on. There's orders to the 70s, which would be above initial balance, but there are orders below, starting to show up below, which would indicate that we may want to drift lower. But definitely a lot of consolidation here. The more that this happens, the more I do think a wick to the upside could be in store before a move lower. And yeah, I'm watching the order stay on the book above price. Let's see what we get. Stop loss is where it's going to be for now, right? If I didn't want to let it come above those highs, I would move the stop loss down. If you don't want to realize whatever your stop loss is, you better move it. There we go. Let's see if we see any pause past initial balance high here. But I'm leaving this one on. If I have to take the stop, I will. I don't want to cut a tight stop loss trade like this too early. That's my trade management, is to not manage. 700s, we got orders. We don't have a lot above that. I don't love where my stop is, but I'm not willing to take on more risk on this trade. So I'm going to look for a reversal here, right now. If a sweep of the high, break of IB high, which is working against me on the stat side. But this continues its move up. I'm taking a stop. But we'll let our trade play out, man. Put the trades on, let the odds play out in your favor. That's all we can do. That's all we can do as traders. Let's see. Do we get another bullish 5-minute bar that comes and takes me? Or are we going to get a little bit of a crack above and then a move back down below? We'll see shortly here, guys. Let's see. Nope, no reaction yet. Still pushing. Yeah, it looks like we want to go tag 700s. Let's see. Watching Bookmap on the side. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna clip this here. I'll show you why. It may absolutely just turn and burn to the downside. I'm gonna get out there, save myself 50 bucks. I'm gonna show you why. These orders up here have just been getting eaten up. Everything that's above price has been getting eaten up on Bookmap. We are really just disregarding anything below price. We're showing volume to the upside, albeit not a whole lot. And my stop is right here. This is not a good place to have a stop loss. I'm not going to move it farther away. It's a pretty hard rule that I have for myself, not to just increase risk while you're in a trade and start moving stop loss farther away. But if I wasn't short, I'd be wanting to trade toward this. There's no way that that I would want to be short below this area. That stayed on the book. It looks like real liquidity. From what I can see from Bookmap, is there a chance that we just turn right from here and leave this on the book and we watch this thing fall? Yes, I'm okay with that happening, right? Making my bed, and you got to sleep in it. Too much liquidity, big round number, right where my stop loss is. I would really want my stop loss way, way up here, like the 40s or the 30s, if I wanted to allow this to get hit and then potentially come down. So we didn't reject off that area. We didn't reject out of that area of consolidation. We've now cracked initial balance high, which means we're more likely to extend to the upside and not come all the way back down to break the low. So I'm going to cut my loser short, right? I'm okay doing that. Again, when I'm actively managing trades, when I'm looking at lower time frames. Realize a $96 loss, save a third. I mean, we're talking about very, very, not large amounts of money here, but save a third of the risk, right? If you look at things in a risk to reward standpoint, you just cut a third of an R off of your loss. Part of having a nice positive risk to reward when it comes to average winners and average losers, cutting your losers short can help you there. Again, we'll see right here, right now, if this thing just absolutely rejects from here. I end up cutting early when in fact letting it run would have made sense. But I got to make the decision that makes sense for me. And for that one, leaving 50 bucks of risk on while I'm 2/3 of the way to a stop out with a whole bunch of orders on the book at 700 just doesn't look like the play for me after a crack of IB high and really just a failure to move lower. But we'll see. See what happens here. Hey, sir, wanted to ask you sometimes, for me, I feel like trading micros is not worth it. But yes, it gives me the small loss, but smaller wins as well. How can I change this mindset? Yeah, it's just recognize, you said it right there. You're being P&L focused, right? So it's just all about the risk for you and your account, what you're comfortable taking on. Most guys are way oversized. They're not allowing themselves enough room to work. They're not allowing themselves to take small losses and to be able to trade from an objective standpoint without being so worried and nervous and, just watching the P&L flash. What's worth it or not worth it, is up to the individual. But it comes down to what is your average risk to reward and your average win rate, and what does that mean for your account and how much you're going to risk per trade and per day. Use a free trading equity simulator to look at, the most aggressive you can go without really risking losing the account and, decide to structure risk that way. But micros versus minis doesn't really matter. It's just the amount of money that you put on the line, right? Volatility changes. So that trade could be $500 with one micro on another day, or it can be $20. Decide what your risk per trade is. $200 per trade, $500 per trade, 1,000, 100, whatever it is, and then stick to that. That's how you build an account. Yeah, 5 micros on is $200. Yep. I guess I settle with, for now, I build my accounts. It's just that sometimes I'm getting 1K per night, and then I see myself burning accounts too. Yeah, again, there's a thought process here, right? Do you want to risk losing the account, or do you want to be in a position where you're not standing to risk the account, the entire account? Whether it's a prop account or a live account, and size down based on that. Most guys are oversized. If you are trading prop accounts aggressively, like you see me do sometimes, and you are rotating between accounts, looking at maybe taking losses on one and then making it to a payout on another. There's different approaches you could take. You have a bunch on backup. But for the most part, size down. Your account can't withstand the losses that you're going to take, and you're going to lose it. That should be the mindset. But again, it also depends on what you're trading, right? It depends on if you're trading, the 1 minute time frame, and you're scalping for a move right here, and you're going to trade with a 20-point stop loss, or if you're trading on the 15-minute time frame, and you're going to look long as we come down and retest this area and push to the upside, and you're going to run a 200-point stop loss, right? 10 times the size. It just depends on those factors as well. As I'm watching this thing reverse after my close. Trade management, right? Made my decision, stick with it, and journal and watch it play out. See if I can't, if I hurt myself or help myself by cutting losers short, right? We'll watch to see if this absolutely reverses from here, and I would have been better leaving this trade on. It'll get filed under not touching the trade, one more for not touching the trade. Again, for the most part, what I see, if you have confidence, actively managing your trades, cutting your losers short, letting your winners run can be helpful, but you got to revert to your data, right? The data is going to show you. As long as you journal your trades, like I will with this one, with some executions. If I watch oftentimes that I enter, for example, a short, like we had on this one, and here's my stop loss. I don't remember exactly where my entry was, somewhere down here. And I cut my trade short here, and then I watch the thing absolutely rip to the downside. If I watch that play out over and over again, I have to tell myself, hey, don't touch those. Let it run to full stop out. You're going to cut yourself short of good trades, and those will make up for it. If I regularly see, well, as we're making it, to 3/4 of the way to the stop loss, 2/3 of the way on this one, and you're letting it run all the way, you have a really good indication to close the trade. It's just not working out. It's taking too long, and you can start to save yourself half a stop out, preserve some capital. Sure, go ahead and do that. But I always think it just comes back to your data, right? Refer back to your trading journal. It's not going to lie to you. It's going to show you after the fact what you did, and then what would have happened if you did something differently. And you can use that to adjust. That's the process that I take when I work with guys. Got to keep a journal. If you're going to back test, you should journal your trades when you're back testing and review, and then adjust from there. That's the key. Whatever you do is not going to work all the time, right? So like, let's say I say, you know what, which I do. I actively manage my trades when I'm trading with a nice tight stop loss like this, and I'm going for something off the 5-minute chart. I'm aggressively counter. I don't really want to let this thing move very far against me, and I cut trades short, right? If they're headed to the stop loss, and price action market structure is not looking good, Bookmap's not looking good, I'm comfortable cutting my trade short. I will still have trades like this one may do that just rocket in the direction, right? There will still be some. The question is, are you helping yourself more often than not? Are you helping your P&L in the long run by doing whatever you're doing? If the answer is yes, keep doing it. Recognize the market's random in the short term, and you're not going to be able to get it right every time. If not, and you see a pattern, then change that. So we get to watch this one today. And maybe it'll be a good example and get filed in the not touching it. That was a nice rejection. We've came down. We got some bearish bars. Still have orders up at 700, which doesn't look good, but we really didn't want to go and tag that. That looked like it. Again, about 20 points from, let's be exact with it. Yeah, under 20 points from my stop with a high level of liquidity up there. That did not look good, but we've came away from it. We've got some orders down below at 25s. I'd still be in drawdown on this trade based on where my entry was, but we'll watch it play out. That one's done. What I would look for next on this, let's take a look at Dow, which I was watching. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with Dow for the morning now. At least for right now. I'd look for a long on this. I still think we're going to come lower. We're not blasting higher. We did crack IB high, but we just swept it. I'm still potentially looking like this to go crack 700 and then come lower. Maybe we do just blast off from here. Maybe we continue this bullish move to the upside. But I'm not going to try anything else right off the bat. But yeah, you guys got trading questions, feel free, ask them in the chat. Risk management, mindset, love talking that stuff. Markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. There you go. Stay small, advice to myself. Yeah, man, absolutely. Again, look at your account, right? If you're trading with a, like here's the process. While we're talking, we could talk trade management. Can I do this in a way that is where I can write? No, I can't. I'm not going to bother. I'll just speak it. Let's say you're trading with a 50K account, right? Like I'm in right here. In a 50K Top Step account, let's say you make it to the funded level, you have $2,000 worth of drawdown before you lose the account. The first math equation you should do is, how many losses do I want to give myself before the account's gone? If I started trading now and I only took losses, which is probably not likely if you have a 0% win rate, but you should go to that worst case scenario. How many losses do I want to give myself? Is it 10? Is it 20? Is it 2? That's going to be different for everybody. From there, the next place that I would go is a free trading equity simulator. Hop in my Discord, hop on my Instagram. I got them posted everywhere. Take a look at, based on your rough win rate and risk to reward, what the maximum risk per trade you should be using if you don't want to get close to a $2,000 loss over the next 100 trades. It's a Monte Carlo simulator that shows you what your max risk per trade should be based on win rate and risk to reward, which is different for everybody. And you can look at that equity curve. And if you see at a certain point for the numbers you're using, it comes down and clips $2,000 loss, you know that you're not going to keep that account. You're not going to hold on to your XFA. If you size down small enough to where it doesn't come back down to clip that $2,000 level, you say, okay, great. I know given normal circumstances with my win rate and risk to reward, I shouldn't be losing this account through win streaks and losing streaks, right? Most guys don't do that. They just guess. They go by feel. They don't accept risk. They're all over the place. So. If you count the $40 too, you over lost $20 instead. 5 micros. Yeah. Yeah, micros versus minis, again, man, it doesn't matter, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. Pick your poison. Micros, you get much more flexibility. If you're trading 50K accounts, unless you're scalping really zoomed in, minis are heavy, especially on NASDAQ, like really heavy. Yep, down, not backing off. NASDAQ still consolidating up here. Like this this looks still okay. That short entry, like I'm not bad with that spot where we took it. We didn't just get absolutely ran through. This may sell off, but we've had a chance to come lower now for like, 45 minutes and we're not doing it. So I don't know. A sweep of the 700 and then an aggressive rejection to the downside. Like if we got something like this, cracked above 700 and then really started to come back down really aggressively, that would look pretty sweet for a short. Stop loss above that level. But higher time frame wise, zoomed out, 15-minute. I still like this long, right? Cracked above initial bounce. We broke above overnight high, prior day high, initial bounce high, right? This would indicate, based on the stats, that we're going to have a nice close to the upside today, right? That from a a daily perspective, this is going to be a green close. You can see how the candle's forming right now. I do like to look at the higher time frames. Just look at price action and market structure. This looks like we could push to the upside, make this a really, really big trending day. We can also find resistance here, right? This is actually a pretty important level. Now that we zoomed way out here, see there's the advantage of coming out to the daily. You get to see stuff like this back in December and November. That's a hell of a level right here that we're at. Now that I'm looking at it, that I was not really aware of. So there's a short play for sure. This is definitely a short play if you wanted to take this. So yeah, again, you can make the case both ways. For me, without a way to structure risk, I'm not looking to put risk on. Short again, I could absolutely see it happening. That liquidity above at the 700s, big round psychological number. That was enough to get me out for a under $100. From the book, Best Loser Wins. Most winners calculate how much they lose. Most losers look at how much they win. Boom. It's beautiful. I recommend everybody goes and reads that book. If you haven't read it, you can leave now and read that book. Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogarth. That one, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, and The Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler. Those three you should absolutely read. There's only going to help you. I don't think you're going to be a worse trader after those. But it's exactly it's a great point. Most winning traders are going to be risk managers first. They're going to look at what they stand to lose on a trade. They're going to focus on their downside, which is what you see me do when I get into trades and I start zooming out and I pay attention to that stop loss. What do I stand to lose on this trade? Then what do I stand to gain? If you're only looking at upside, there we go, Jose. Yeah, book's amazing. If you're only looking at upside, you are looking at things the wrong way. Look in terms of risk to reward, but look at your downside. Absolutely look at your downside. Watching this thing come lower, approaching my entry. Yeah, this looks like it's going to go. Again, happy with the decisions that I make trading. You have to be. You have to be confident making them, and then whatever happens after the fact is for you to review after, right? But this looks like it's going to be one of those to get filed, man. To get filed under the don't touch the trade. We're going to come all the way down to VWAP. But we'll watch it live with you guys here. Those books should be the reading material. They should have an exam before giving us any accounts. Simmer real. Yeah, they should, man. If everybody was required to read Best Loser Wins, The Mental Game of Trading, and Trading in the Zone, I think there'd be a lot. The statistic for profitable traders would be a lot better. Fantastic. There's a handful of other good ones. The Market Wizard books are really, really good. The OG one is really, really good. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, the Jesse Livermore story is really good. Phantom of the Pits is a really good one. There's another long psychology one. I think it's called The Psychology of Financial Risk Management or Risking something. If you guys need more books to read, you've read those three. The Disciplined Trader by Douglas is really good. If you've read all of these, hit me up in Discord. Hop in the free Discord. I'll give you more books to read. And I'm not a reader. I'm not. But they are solid. psychology books, reframing the way that you should be thinking about the markets by traders who are great traders. That's why I really like Market Wizards. It's super old, and some of the stuff is just like doesn't really like apply. But the thought process that you get from some of those guys, like the Ed Secoda interview, solid, man, solid. Can't decide what it wants to do. Stuck in a consolidation area here. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Again, waiting to see if this initial trade would have played nicely with me or if we're indeed going to go and hit a stop. So far, this looks okay to the downside. Again, when I zoomed way out on this, here we can do it from the 4 hour. Oh, I switched time frames too much. There we go. If I look at the 1 hour, I zoom like way out, you know, we are at a level that's been tested, right? This is a pretty gnarly reaction after putting a high in November. We're just above that. You know, you could see the low, the sweep down below to test that level right here before a big high put in. We sliced through it a million times, so it's not, you know, not really clear, not as strong as like, you know, a high or a low that's looking left that hasn't been tested, right? Like if we go here or if we go here, that would be the first one that's not tested. But looking through price action, this is certainly a level, you know, certainly an area between here and looking left, this high up here. I'd say you probably have another one here, you know, up at around the 800s, right? Tested multiple times, just looking at tops and bottoms, areas where price has tested, and then there's been large movement afterwards, big impulsive moves. So we could run into some resistance here, but I tried my short. I'd want to see what happens at 700. That's my thought process. I want to see what happens at this level where we've got some orders resting. Big round number. Jordan, maybe some fresh toast or waffles. I don't know. I don't know what this is in the chat, but that's funny. Makes me laugh. Let's see how the other boys are doing. Oh. Yep. 100 lots now at the 700s. Even more have been added to that level. I'd want to see what happens when we get up here. I would actually be interested in a short if we cracked up here and then started to pull back down. This is just not. It's a big impulsive move to the upside, hitting a level. Buyers have plenty of time to take this thing higher, and we still may. You know, we still may just crack this level and then kind of turn into that slow grind to the upside. Really making a run, you know, way, way, way up here and turn this into a huge, huge day. But we've really pushed to the upside aggressively. I could see this as another crack to the upside and then a pullback down. Reversion to an area of higher volume. Come and check some lower prices out. Not something that I'm going to take right now. Again, if I wanted to stay in it, I would have stayed in it. But I'm interested in the 700s, kind of see what happens there on NQ. If we get up there, right, we may just kind of turn to the downside from here. A lot of consolidation relative to this morning move here. 11:05, past that 11 o'clock time frame. Chat, what are you doing here? We're down right now. Got to think positive, and pancakes are positive. I like that. Pancakes are positive. How do you feel about Indian food? Pretty good. Only had a couple good restaurants. My favorite is in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, Indian food's sweet too, man. Oh, chat. Good stuff. Pancakes are positive. Oh, man. You come in here with that stuff, I think it's funny. Pancakes, man. We're thinking positive. All right, let's take a quick look at ES. Let's look at other markets. Go around the bell here. Similar structure out of ES. Looks like we are going to test a big high put in, right, from yesterday. We are at the overnight and prior day level right now. Coming back to Dow. Weakest out of all three. Lagging behind, but similar structure pushing to the upside. NASDAQ, the strongest of the three, pushing above prior day's high. Take a look at the Mag 7 just for fun. Looking green across the board. Not super green, excuse me, but pretty green. Not that I take into consideration a lot of that information, but worth talking about, worth mentioning while I'm on here with you guys. Hang for a little while longer on this, man. Again, I don't see a play setting up outside of just taking it short and trying to run it back down here, which is absolutely a move right out of consolidation. You know, failing to move higher. You know, we swept above. We come back down and break these lows. You know, this does look like we want to move to the downside. You can take it high up here, stop loss above this level, and look to run it to the downside. The more that this happens, the less it looks like a pullback before continuation, right? So, you know, if we start to really aggressively sell off from here, I don't know that I'm looking long, right? You know, if we cracked up like this really aggressively, and then we pulled back, right? We had like a nice bearish candle pulling back down below prior day high, overnight high, getting close to VWAP, and then buyers stepped right in and started to push it back higher up here. That would look good for a long. That would look to say, hey, look, that's our move to the downside. Now we're going to blast off. That's not what we have forming here, right? So how we get different places on the chart matters. Here we have consolidation. We have blast up, consolidation, right? Buyers trying to take it higher, pulling back down. Cracking higher, pulling back down. Testing again, not blasting off. Consolidation, right? We got a lot of volume being traded. Well, not a lot of volume. Dying actually off. But a decent amount of volume looking at the horizontally plotted volume. We see a sweep above and then a push lower. That would look really good for a short. You know, it just begs the question why we are not able to just crack it higher right here, right now. So initially, short play that I could see setting up. I don't know that I would want to take it long. I'd probably be waiting into the afternoon to be looking for something that I would maybe hold for a longer time frame move. But hang out for a little while longer. Yeah, we'll go till about 11:30. Watch the markets with you guys. Oh, excuse me. If you hopped on late, feel free, hit like, subscribe, hit the chat, join the free Discord. 100% free Discord. Live trading every day here with you guys, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. If you trade with prop firms, check out the deals down below in the description of this video. I'll be testing some Tradeify accounts coming up soon. Let me throw that link in there. Coming up real soon. Be testing that straight to funding fun stuff. That's the link to Tradeify if you want to check them out. I will be checking them out, looking at some straight to funded accounts. Test them live with you guys on here. See if we can't work with that consistency rule. Looking at... Yeah, again, watching Bookmap. These are still on the book. These are still on the ladder. Making sure you guys can see this. Bookmap, my favorite order flow tool. You guys want to check this out, links down below as well. We got liquidity up above price. This is what I was watching before. This is what got me out of my trade just a hair early. My stop loss was right here, literally right here. We get a crack above this. We fill this. These sell orders come in, and we start to reject really harshly. I'm more inclined to take a short. Short below this level is okay, but I would not want to go stop loss right here. Does that have to happen? No. We can turn and burn right now. We can just sell off. You know, bottom can fall out. But a lot of times, these orders like to be tagged. When they get tagged, if there's a lot of orders like this, a lot of times we continue through and go and fill whatever's left. If there's one big spot on the chart like this, I'm cautious of it. Definitely cautious against trading against it. But we'll see. You guys, are looking at the chart now. You'll be able to watch how this instance plays out, right? Order flow, I think, can be very helpful, but I think it's like any other tool. It doesn't work all the time. There's nothing that's 100%. Maybe something happens a little more often than not, kind of like what you see on a candlestick chart. And you use that to your advantage. Use it to structure risk. You use it to take a trade, to do whatever you can to improve your stats. Nice short trade on crude. Steven, what's up, dude? What's going on? Solid, man. Yeah, I don't touch crude. I don't touch crude oil. Can't speak on that one, but outside of US indices, I think gold is the big favorite, and maybe some of the other indices, but crude would be next on the list, right? Get the crude traders. Solid, dude. Solid. Oh. Yeah, I don't think we're going to consolidate here all day. I'm looking to see if we reject off of the 700s, or if we just start to turn from here, or if we just push higher. This could be a really massive move today, and we are just kind of like setting the pace for it. I could see a pullback before that happens, but I don't have indication before we sweep these highs again and then start to sell off pretty aggressively. But that's my first trade that I'll be looking at coming into the afternoon. Let's frame them before we get ready to call it. That's what I would be looking at first. End or pullback and continuation to the upside. Going with higher time frame structure, looking up. Looking for this to continue. Nice big green day. But before we go up, oftentimes we come lower. So up or down, just depending on where we go and how we get there. 700 is getting taken out and sellers stepping right back in. I'd be looking long. I'd be looking short. We sell off from here. Again, is it just a rejection and we come all the way back through? Maybe. The longer we kind of hang out up here, the less inclined I am to take a pullback before a move to the upside. But I would look long on this, back down in this area. I would definitely look long as we came back into prior day's high and overnight high. But it's not exactly the setup that I would have liked. Would have liked to see it wick down and then continue. But that's what I'm looking at into the afternoon, guys. ES had a nice breakout. NQ yet to maybe an indication for a little reversal. Yeah. Again, if you use both of those, that's great. I don't find I do really well with it. Paying attention to too many different charts, trying to find correlations or lack of correlation between different days. I just find it gets difficult to manage, and I end up trying to trade the ES chart on NQ or the Dow chart on ES, and I'm better off just focusing on what's right here in front of me, right? Am I trading NQ? What's going on in NQ? But that's specific to me. Plenty of traders are going to look at a whole bunch of different things, right? If they're trading NQ, They're going to have ES, gold. They're going to have the dollar. They're going to look at Mag 7. And if that information helps you, you can process that and it gives you, additional ways to make good trading decisions. That's fantastic. For me, I use the tools that I use. Outside of that, I try to be really cautious. I talk about some of the stuff on here. Talk about the Mag 7. We look at ES, right? But am I going to do something because ES is breaking out here and NQ has not or is doing something a little bit different? No. I've tried to do that in the past on the indices, and I just don't find it works well for me. I find it hurts me more than it helps me. There's days it works really, really well, and you feel like you're able to just have a cheat code by watching a leading, market. One's, pulling the other. And there's days where it works really poorly, where they're just living in their own world and you are along for the ride trading the wrong chart, trading ES on NQ. But, again, that's totally up to the individual. And the argument can be made there that maybe even more are unlike me, where they're going to look at multiple markets at the same time. They can have a monitor with, a handful of different charts, and they're going to use that information. So that's totally up to the individual. No wrong way to do that. For me, I want to pay attention to levels, price action, market structure, maybe a little bit of order flow, a little bit of volume, and try to focus on what's in front of me here. If I add 37 other charts into the mix, it ends up like analysis paralysis. I could make a case for anything to happen, and it's also difficult to backtest that way, right? So I love warming up on backtesting. Got comfortable on backtesting, in the past. And I think it's difficult if you're a newer trader or someone that's really trying to gain some consistency. If you're going to trade differently than you backtest or even trade on demo, maybe, it's a difficult call, right? And I think it's pretty hard to backtest with all of the different information that you might want to use, like other markets and fundamentals. So, it begs the question there. Like, if you've backtested your strategy, did you use like what ES was doing or what the Mag 7 was doing on that day when you took that trade? The answer is no. Then is it going to help you in live market conditions? You've got to collect a lot of data trading live with it to decide that. So I know that was a rant on ES, and I'm not putting you down on that at all, man. So interesting to hear. And again, we'll continue to check them. We'll watch different markets together. We got people from all over trading different stuff, and we can do that. So consolidating. That'd be pretty cool. Yep, that'd be pretty sweet. We sell off from here. Maybe we just turn to the downside. I think equal to that. Wow, sorry. All right, let's get it together. Equal to that, we could just see a crack down below here, test, and then a continuation to the upside, right? Oftentimes, if we consolidate, we come up to one side, fake out, and then continue. Called a million different things, but that's just a normal structural movement that we see. But not a whole lot, man. A whole lot of nothing. Stuck in a just range consolidating for about an hour. 65 point range. For those that hopped on late, I was short in here. Cut it as it approached my stop for a small loss. Waiting to see if we get something that starts to move here that gives us an opportunity to trade. We'll hang out for a little bit longer. Guys got questions, trading questions, you want to yap about a different market or whatever, let me know in the chat. If you're new here, you want to chat next time, subscribe. Keep subscriber mode on. Try to keep the trolls out. And hop in the free Discord, man. Post that link again. 100% free Discord. Not a VIP feeder program. Not a bunch of BS. Almost 1,500 members. Active. I'm talking in there all day. Talking about trades. Talking about the markets. Talking about news. Talking about everything that goes into trading, man. Prop firms. When crazy stuff is going on. Boom. We'll be happy to have you guys in there. Grateful for all you guys that hop on here, man. It'd be really boring and lonely to be sitting in my desk, at my desk, staring at screens, talking to myself. So appreciate you guys hopping on. It's cool. It's fun to do. Even though this is shaping up to be a lot of waiting at this zone. Oh, man. Just hanging out, watching to see if we get anything else out of this market, man. Seeing if we can't get some movement. Yeah, I don't know on this one, guys. We could just have the nice Dorito pattern before a break to the upside. Trading with Dobie on Top Step likes to talk about Doritos, like this type of a pattern here. Risk management wise, I don't see a way to take it for a long unless we maybe swept these lows again and then continue to the upside. Short, you have an obvious way to structure risk. This looks like we're struggling to move higher, man. We're starting to kind of put these like topping moves in here on the 5 minute. I would still look short on this. You know, we're gonna see if I had direction right earlier or not. Don't like the liquidity above here. Don't like the orders, so I'm going to hang tight. I'd love to see a sweep above and then a continuation lower. We may just fall out of bed here, but that's what I'm going to wait for, guys. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here. Got a nice little range shaped up there, maybe small scalp. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can definitely scalp in between, right? You know, if that's your setup, just scalping in between the ranges, you know, selling off the highs or, you know, like 75% to the top. You know, or close to the bottom. Absolutely, man. You get some nice little range trades in here. You can do that while keeping it in the direction that you think price is likely to move. So you're selling off these highs and like taking partials down at the bottom, holding for a run or two break, or you're just scalping in one direction, you know, just because you think it's more likely to maybe move in one direction on a higher time frame, or you can scalp both sides. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your setup, range trader, just wait for consolidation, then start, you know, selling off highs, buying off lows. Sweet. You know, it works nicely until it doesn't and it just breaks out or it fakes out. But clean way to structure risk, simple trading setups. Nothing wrong with that. Chopping around that volume point of control. Break below 21.622, and I'm short. Yeah. That was near my entry. Somewhere down here. Yeah. But on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up with you here. Appreciate you jumping on. Looking short on this thing, but I'm going to give it a little bit of time, see if we don't crack above or start to break down below. Talk to you guys soon. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Feel free to subscribe if you want to chat for next time. Feel free to hit the like button if you're still on here. Hop in the free Discord. Almost 1,500 active members, 100% free Discord, not a VIP feeder program or any BS. We'd be more than happy to have you in there. Talking trading, the good, the bad, answering questions. Awesome group of like-minded traders. Awesome community. Appreciate all you guys being here. I will see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Thank you guys. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Stuart. From the Swarm, Steven, Lone Wolf, Jordan, Pancakes, man, everybody else. Jose, for sure. Brian, awesome, guys. Talk to you later. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Trade well. Structure your risk.